welcome everyone. This is a little bit of a new kind of video, speaking about some of the new cards in Bt-12. I have with me...
Connor from the Memory Gauge Podcast. Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Today, we're going to go through 5 cards that we feel are probably going to shift the meta coming into Bt-12, and 5 cards that we feel like might be spicy tech cards or things that might just really improve previous strategies. So we both have our list. Probably just go through them, go one meta, one spicy, kind of give our little bits of explanations, kind of ideas, and move on from there. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Why don't you start?
All right, I'll start off with a meta one, and I think it's just the obvious pick. I think it's the card that everyone's going to be talking about. It's the card that everyone wants. It's Quartzmon. I'm sure you have this on your list too. This card 100%. Is absolutely nuts. It's pretty much equivalent to Death Xmon. Like, it just does so much with, so little. You could hard play it. You could, especially with a lot of the other cards that are coming out in the set, you can easily digivolve on top of many Digimon that have save in their text. And then just being able to suspend everything and gain memory is crazy.
Yeah, this thing has the potential to gain a lot of memory. I've been watching some example games from Bt-12 just to try to get my mind across sort of what's coming down the pipeline. And watching Quartzmon, it gains a lot of memory really easily, and keeping everything suspended is just really rude. Like, it suspends Tamers, it suspends Digimon, and it stops them from unsuspending. It's the only thing that's allowed to unsuspend, basically, and it just really dominates a board when it comes down.
I feel like it's really going to be important going into matches when there are 2 Quartzmons, because the second one played, it's not suspended, and the other one has to stay suspended because the other one's blocking it from becoming unsuspended.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a headache, I think. That's going to trip people up, sure.
Like I said, I think it fits with like the Death X. You play a Death X, you can hit your opponent's Death X's, it can be really good. A matter of seeing where it gets us.
Yeah, it digivolves, as you say, it digivolves off of anything with save. It has natively 3 different Digivolution colors, like it can digivolve from a green, a black, or a white level 6. So, like, it's very, very flexible, goes in a lot of places. And I just know there's going to be someone at my locals who is going to build this, and we're going to play against it, our first Bt-12 locals, and I just know I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, I think everyone's getting a little bit of, like, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I personally think it might be a little bit healthy for the game, but hard to say, I guess. It definitely helps against those decks that are possibly just going to be swinging for game. You have the Quartzmon there, but there's also a few other cards that I feel like we'll talk about that might be able to help stop this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, like... It's not that you can't fight against it. There are things you can do. But it is a big control element, especially the fact that it controls Tamers as well, which are still few and far between effects that affect your opponent's Tamers. So, interesting to see another one doing something a bit different other than just deleting them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, would you like to go into potentially your first spicy tech card?
My first spicy tech card. All right, so... the first one, I don't know if it's so much spicy tech as much as it is just really good tech. The more that I think about it, the more I think maybe spice doesn't necessarily apply. I think it's just solid for a lot of decks. My first card is Clockmon. So, if you're not across the new cards, this is a white level 4. It doesn't digivolve from anything. 4 to play, 4,000 DP. It's got blocker, which is kind of interesting. Its on-play effect lets you add up to 2 different Digimon with save from the top 3 of your deck to your hand. So it draws you potentially 2 cards pretty often. I think you're going to hit that reasonably often in the sort of deck you'll play this in. It has save itself, so you can kind of reuse it. And then the inheritable says, while this Digimon has save in its card text, it gains jamming. So it gives you a save Digimon jamming if you could put it underneath them. And we've seen a lot of tamers in this set that let you, kind of move your Digimon with save around, place them beneath other Digimon. I think that jamming is really cool. I'm a big fan of jamming as an effect, so being able to kind of place it under your save Digimon, I think, is going to be pretty effective. And I just like this does a lot. Like, it's a blocker, it's a search effect. You can kind of keep it around if you've got a tamer because of that save effect, so it's hard for your opponent to kind of get rid of it. You can move it around and reuse it. It's just doing a lot, and it's a real... Plus, it's a goofy-looking guy. It's a little clock dude.
I feel like you've hit the nail on the head there, especially with general white cards. They are normally not necessarily spicy tech, but they're always really good cards. You can see that with stuff like Pokemon that enabled all of the hybrid builds, and I feel like Clockmon is going to do very much the same. I don't personally have Clockmon on my spicy tech list.
Okay.
But
fair enough.
It moves into my spicy tech.
Ooh.
I think Watchmaker is a great card. A lot of the times you'll look at some of the really generic tamers. Sometimes there's a little bit in between. And a lot of the times when we look at cards, we're mostly looking at these big boss monsters or some sort of things that they can do. But I feel like Watchmaker can really help create and facilitate a great deck. So for people that don't know, Watchmaker has on-play effect, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon with save in its text and 1 card with Hunter in its trait to your hand, and then place the rest on the bottom. And during the main, if you have 4 tamers in play, you can suspend this tamer to give 1 Digimon with save, security +1. Now, it's good. But for something a bit interesting, we do have the Clockmon that you mentioned that can give them jamming. And if you have jamming under a Digimon and you have 4 Watchmakers under it with a Digimon with save, you can tap all 4 of your Watchmakers to give it essentially security 5 checks with jamming. It's going to mostly survive unless it hits an option card. And I just think that's
Christmas land, but I like it. I like where you hit that.
It is very interesting. I think security +1 is always pretty good. Being able to search a lot of these newer tamers is helpful, especially with all of the Digimon with save that we want at this point in time.
Yeah,
I think it's a good card, and I think we'll see a decent chunk of it.
Yeah, and even without the Clockmon and without the jamming, I think because you just kind of get to tuck your save Digimon away for later once you've got a tamer out. Even without jamming, you can just throw this onto any random save Digimon if you need to do a couple checks, and like if it gets deleted on the first check, oh well.
Yeah,
that's kind of what you want with your save Digimon anyway. So
yeah, mostly.
It's kind of all upside there almost.
All right, we'll go into your secondary meta check.
Okay, so the first card on my list, apart from Quartzbond, which was also on my list, Marcus Damon. Another tamer. From tamer to tamer. So Marcus Damon, if people don't know, 4 cost yellow and red tamer. I love a multicolored tamer. It enables a lot of stuff. Fun option shenanigans. Start of your main phase. This is the kind of spicy bit. If you have a Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name, by paying 1 memory, this tamer is also treated as a Digimon with 3000 DP, and it cannot Digivolve for the turn. And then it also has your turn. When this tamer becomes suspended, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow card with Greymon in its name from your hand without paying its Digivolution cost. So your Marcus can attack. It doesn't need to become a hybrid. It doesn't need any fancy shenanigans. Just so long as you got an Agumon or a Greymon out, pay 1 memory at the start of your main phase, Marcus becomes a Digimon. I think we are going to see Marcus for game happen a reasonable amount of the time.
I fully agree with you, and I actually do have this on my meta list. I think that this card is insane. 1 memory Digimon, essentially, to spend, being able to Digivolve instantly, like, it's kind of just insane. The 4 cost to play it is a little bit like, yeah, it's a bit much, but it's not too bad when you consider the possibilities of this card.
And you're playing this in a red and yellow Greymon deck, which has access to the Rise Greymons and things to put Tamers into play for free anyway. So there's a reasonable chance you haven't paid that 4 memory to get your Marcus into play. Really.
Honestly, more than likely you haven't. And I just think it's just, what isn't there to have from this? Sure, you can swing for game, but more than anything, you can swing for that final check. And on that check, like prior, you just Digivolve, and you get so much more value from it.
Yes, you attack with the Marcus, it becomes suspended because it's attacking, and then you Digivolve one of your Greymons for free. Like that seems really, really good in its specific deck. Plus, just from a flavor perspective, it's really nice to finally see a Marcus who actually punches things as he did in the show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what this set is very much about. It's meant to be encapsulating that final sort of section of that Digicross season, where we do showcase a lot of the prior Digimon tamers from previous series, and mostly the main characters and how strong they are. And it definitely showcases in this kind of set, we do see a lot of the Warp Digivolving, the Fire Merge, the, stuff like this where he is actually attacking. There's just all sorts of things that I think really play a great part in this entire set.
Yeah, so this is, I think, going to be really cool card to keep an eye on, definitely.
I'll go into my spicy tech.
Yes.
So I absolutely love black and purple specifically. It's some of my favorite decks come from black and purple. So this might be a bit of a stretch, but I think Darkness Bagramon could be a really good card going into next set. It has Digicross -3 for Dark Knightmon and Bagramon. When you would play this card, you may place specific cards from battle area, as you do with Digicrossing, to reduce the cost. And then on play, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Then you can place up to 5 Digimon cards with Bagra Army in their trait from your trash as Digivolution cards to this Digimon, which is just insane going into the fact that there's already so much that you can do with this card. The -6 lets you play it for 10, but when you also accumulate the U from, what was it, BT11 or BT10 or whatever set it was, the purple U, you also can attach all of your Bagra Army Digimon that are under Tamers to it as well, to then just really reduce the play cost of this and have like a massive stack of Darkness Bagramon that honestly is probably going to be able to use its secondary effect a lot more than once. Secondary effect being when an opponent's Digimon Digivolves or attacks, you can trash 5 cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards to return every Tamer to their owner's hand, which can really set back a lot of decks.
Yeah, getting rid of Tamers is always going to be powerful, just because there's so few effects that really do it, and we see some really good Tamers recently. The fact that you're going to be able to get so many sources under this thing is going to be really cool. I want to point out at this point, Darkness Bagramon was on your spicy list. Darkness Bagramon is actually on my meta list.
Really?
It's number 5.
I don't think this card's good enough to be meta. What aspect makes you think that it's like meta changing?
Okay, so once I got down to number 5, I was trying to go a little bit off the beaten path. So
okay.
I looking at this, I did have to sort of argue myself into it, but my reasoning is, and this may not make sense to a lot of people, and I'm not actually very good at the game, so possibly this is not good reasoning, but with all those caveats, the tamer, it's the return all tamers to their owner's hand thing, and the fact that it has that Digivolve over purple level 6 or a black level 5, so it's got a little bit of flexibility. I just think it fills out your Bagra army deck, so it kind of brings that forward a little bit, where it was a little bit memey, that deck. I think Darkness Bagramon kind of brings that deck up, and if bringing a deck up and making a deck that little bit more competitive isn't meta defining by adding something to the meta, I don't know what is. And that's my reasoning. Also, it looks cool, and I love everything about it, to be honest. It just, you can make such a big stack with this thing, and potentially, and I love a big stack.
Well, I do agree, and I think it definitely works well with the idea of like Dark Knightmon. We saw a lot of Dark Knightmon early on, but then we did see the resurgence of it with what was it? I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name at all. The other Amano.
Yep.
Like, with the fact that that deck is black, obviously works with the new U Amano that is out in Bt-12, and can help facilitate more Dark Knightmon plays, especially because they do float a lot, and that deck, well, Dark Knightmons in and of themselves don't necessarily have a lot of, what would you call it? Just save. They just don't have save. They just float on their own. So it can kind of facilitate itself. You search a lot of cards, like, so yeah, you can potentially get this card out really easy, but interesting to see that you've got on your Medi pick, and I have it as not so high up there.
Yeah, it was an outsider pick for me for sure, but I'm going to stand by it because I'm nothing if not stubborn.
Would you like to share with us one of your other spicy techs?
Okay, so spicy techs. So my next spicy tech was Ranamon, one of the new hybrids that we're getting in this set.
Really?
Yeah, so blue level 4, 5 to play, 2 to Digivolve, 4000 DP. It can sort of slide Digivolve into Kalmaramon, which is sort of the beast hybrid. You can do the traditional like Digivolve it onto one of your blue tamers thing. So, you know, hybrid for game is still happens on occasion. So now we've got another option, although there are some good options in blue already with Kurumamon is probably the classic one. But when Digivolving by placing one level 3 blue Digimon card from your hand at the bottom of one of your blue Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains jamming for the turn. Now, I like the jamming. I think that's interesting. It makes it a little bit flexible. And I kind of like that it doesn't need to go under this Digimon. You put the level 3 under sort of any of your Digimon to get access to that effect. So it's like a sneaky way to get a level 3 under something or to get an extra effect under something.
Could be interesting in like a blue flare kind of deck. You could always sneak like one of your level 3s under something.
Yeah, I think sneakily that effect, there's going to be some cool things you can do with it. I play an Aegis Dramon deck, which kind of plays around in this space a lot. So seeing this was really interesting because that deck wants to get kind of a lot of Digimon under your sources because then you play them later. So this is kind of another way to, you're doing the hybrid thing, which is already, you know, attacking with a hybrid is already good. We want to do that. And then it's just kind of another way to manipulate your own sources and get some Digimon under there. So I thought that was kind of, yeah, not fantastic, but just another blue hybrid, maybe a little bit spicy. It's doing something a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Didn't personally see it going into this, but hybrids are always good. Definitely see something crazy go out with it. Now, you have already mentioned your third meta pick of Darkness Pokemon.
I have, yes.
I will share with you my third, which is Chaosdramon X Antibody.
Okay.
So, Digimon Digivolve from Machinedramon or Chaosdramon for 2. Pretty good already. At the start of your main phase, you can place a Digimon with Cyborg or Machine from your trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution. All turns, this Digimon gains all effects of every Machinedramon and Chaosdramon cards in its Digivolution cards. Kinda nuts. And once per turn, when this Digimon would be deleted, you can just trash the top of your opponent's security stack, which it just does what it wants to do. Chaosdramon at this point in time just kind of wants to delete itself, play off a bunch of stuff, go again. And the fact that this can be stacked on top of each other, with the fact that you can then put one from your trash under it and get the effect essentially again, is kind of insane.
Yeah, this one I almost put this onto my own list actually, because this is a really, really interesting card. I'm thinking particularly like the fact that it takes on the effects of the Machinedramon or the Chaosdramon underneath it. I'm thinking of the most recent Machinedramon in particular, because of that on deletion effect. That lets you play a Machinedramon from hand without paying the cost, so you're kind of doubling up on your on deletion effects by having it over that most recent Machinedramon.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of it as well. You can also, play X Antibody in that deck now. You can attach it. You get, so much more from it. You can swing Digivolve. There's so much that you can do with this card now. And already Chaosdramon was, a pretty good deck. So the fact that they're just getting, a card that facilitates all their stuff, which just enables their stacking, is kind of nuts.
Yeah, this is a really nice top end for that deck. It really feeds into everything it wants to do. You're right. Just takes everything that it's already doing and says, hey, do more of it and do it a little bit better. And that trashing the top card of the security stack is just the icing on the cake. All turns, too. Good fun.
All turns, only once per turn. It's not a replacement effect, which it almost reads to be, but, when you have possibly another one of this underneath your stack, I believe you do get the secondary use of it. You still gain the effect? I'm not too sure. But regardless...
I'm wondering if there's a world where if you have a protection effect like a... what's the keyword? Like a delay or something that also replaces, would be deleted, whether you can stack the triggers.
Probably.
So it's not deleted, but also it trashes the top of the security card. I'm wondering.
It specifically does state when this Digimon would be deleted. So it's in the same realm.
One for the rules lawyers in the audience. But I'm just wondering why they would word it that way. Otherwise, because it's a really interesting wording.
All right, back into our spicy area.
Okay.
If you would like to go, we can start one.
Sure, I've got a few left in the bank. We'll continue on my love of hybrids. My next one is Mercuremon.
Oh, okay.
The new black hybrid. So 6 to play, which is reasonably expensive for a hybrid, actually. Usually they're at 5, the humanoid hybrids. 2 to Digivolve, 5,000 DP. It's black. You can Digivolve onto a black tamer. It has on play when Digivolving, one of your Digimon gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. And just like Randamon, I just thought that was kind of a spicy little flexibility on the hybrid. The fact that we're used to attacking with hybrid for game, but Mercuremon lets you make a blocker for game, and it doesn't have to be the Mercuremon either. It's just one of your Digimon. So 2 memory, Digivolve over a tamer, get another body on board, and turn any of your Digimon into a blocker. It seems pretty cool to me.
See,
if you don't have a tamer, you can just hard drop it as well.
I almost put this on my list because it works well with the other blocker, or not the other blocker, the other hybrid, which is what, Sephiroth?
Which, the weird eyeball angel.
Yeah. Thing. So it's like the traditional one where you digivolve for 2 onto your tamer, and then you give an opponent's Digimon start of the main phase must attack. And I believe it.
Yeah.
Does it have an inheritable that makes it have retaliation or something? I feel like there was something around there.
Sephiroth 1 doesn't appear to give retaliation or have retaliation or anything like that.
I thought there was something where it was just like, what am I thinking? I feel like there's a way, obviously, you put out like a blocker with retaliation, any Digimon, but then you can go onto the Mekiomon for 1 on top of the Sephiroth. And I think there's like another card that lets you do something else that's like helpful, but I can't remember. But altogether, it would like work really well, especially forcing your opponent to like do that kind of bit of
stuff. So those two together are pretty spicy. They're doing something pretty interesting, I think.
Definitely. As for my spice, I have one that I would almost put on like meta defining.
Ooh, okay.
But it's actually Astamon. So it's a level 5 Digimon that can digivolve from Psychmon for 5.
Yep.
It is pure purple. It can also digivolve from a yellow, green, purple with save in its text for 3. And when this Digimon, you would... Wait, am I reading that right? Yes. When you would play... So on Digivolving, you can play a level 4 or lower Digimon with save in its text from under one of your tamers without paying its play cost. And then if this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, it may Digivolve into... what is it?
A Quartzmon.
Yeah, into a Quartzmon. From under one of your tamers for a Digivolution cost of 3, I believe.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, we've already said Quartzmon is probably one of the most powerful Digimon coming into this set. And honestly, it's kind of nuts to think that you could just make a stack and then go on top, go into a Quartzmon, and then tap everything. On top of the fact that it also has the inheritable that when you attack once per turn, if this is one has save in its text, draw a card. It's just an extra bonus for something that you're probably going to stack under.
Yeah. So the really nasty bit here for me is that a lot of the tamers you play have some variation on the effect of when your Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon with save in its card text, suspend this tamer and place 1 card from under your tamers at the bottom of that Digimon's Digivolution cards. Reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So not only does it make it cheaper to get into your Astamon, but it kind of means that you don't, like, if you've got tamers with cards underneath them, you don't need that much setup, just a lot of tamers and save Digimon, which is easy enough to do, to just instantly go into a Quartzmon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suspend everything on the field, say go. It's not even that expensive because you just reduced the Digivolution cost by a lot with all your tamers.
And even if you have like a Psychmon up, going directly from a 3 to a 5, reducing the cost is like kind of nuts. And I mean, the fun part is, and I think this will be something that'll get a lot of people a bit confused, Astamon in and of itself does not have the ability save, but it does have the word save in its card text, and that is the only reason why you'd be able to do something.
Yep. So long as it has that little orange save box in the text of the card, it counts when it says has save in its card text, which is interesting. Like, it's an interesting way to go about it. I see why they've done that. It's not usual in my personal card gaming experience to word it that way, but you can kind of see what they're going for.
Now, the important thing to recognize here is that you haven't said that this was on any of your lists.
No, this did not make it to any of my lists. Although it definitely could have, because I've in the games I've watched, sort of in my own reading, this does a lot of work and it slots really neatly into that Quartzmon deck, and is one of the best cards in that Quartzmon deck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're 100% right.
Totally agree. All right, we'll head back over to our little meta picks.
Okay.
To our fourth. What would be your fourth meta pick?
Okay, my fourth meta pick is Arrestodramon Superior Mode, specifically.
I have this as mine as well.
Yep.
I think this card is insane.
This was one of the easy picks to put on the list. Like, this is like my first one. So if people don't know, purple level 5 Digimon, 9 to play, 4 to Digivolve, 10,000 DP. It Digivolves for 4 from a red, black, or purple level 4 if the card text contains save. So it can Digivolve from a lot of different things. Very flexible. When you Digivolve into Arrestodramon Superior Mode, place one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card or under one of their tamers. For each tamer you have in play with a different color, increase the maximum level this effect can choose by 1. So you just take one of your opponent's Digimon and you just tuck it under one of their other Digimon or one of their tamers. It's a really brutal removal effect that gets around a lot of protection. And it's not too hard, I think, to get to a setup where you've got, say, a purple tamer, a black tamer, a red tamer. That's 3, you're putting a level 6 now. Like, that's not this is a Crossheart style kind of deck playing a lot of different tamers. That's not a hard setup. You're going to do that pretty quickly, I think.
Absolutely. And I think the kind of removal is really important here. Being able to just tuck it. You can just tuck it under your opponent's tamer for all it matters. Sometimes they might not have like an additional Digimon to tuck it under, but just being able to tuck like that top card directly under, everything else gets trashed. Like, it's kind of insane. On top of the fact that at the end of your turn, it can attack if it has 4 or more Digivolution cards without suspending. So if you have something that just gives it blocker, like you said before with Mercumon, this card now has the ability to both attack while it's unsuspended and also be a blocker next turn.
So, yeah, pretty good. Really good.
Insane card as well, yeah.
The attack without suspending is great because, like, you attack with something so it's already suspended.
Well, this plays around Quartzmon.
Yeah.
You're not suspending. You're already attacking and you don't suspend, so you're able to maintain your Digimon on the field, which I think is kind of like the point of the card.
I was going to say, I think that's a story-related kind of interaction.
I think so as well. I think that's how the anime ends. I'm pretty sure Arrestodromon's like the Digimon that kind of ends the series.
Yeah, I believe that. And then the inherited effect, when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has save, draw 1. Yeah. Like, we've seen, you're going to be moving your cards around a lot in this deck, from what I've seen. You're going to be moving these sources around a lot beneath tamers, putting them under the Digimon with your tamer effects. So you can get access to this pretty easily, and you'll draw a bunch of cards, which is something I really enjoy. So I love seeing that little line of text down the bottom there.
Always tucking a card here or there. We'll go over to the spicy tech. We both agree that Arrestodramon is an insane card.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And I'll go into a card that almost hit my meta list, but I think is just going to be like... I feel like it's just going to be a little bit spicy until people fully pick up on it. And it's not necessarily one card, but it's kind of like the full set. But in particular... Imperialdramon Fighter Mode. I think this card is absolutely insane. I think all of the cards for the Imperialdramon line are absolutely nuts in this set. I think it just does so much so quickly. And with the support that it already has, it can just kind of sit around. Being able to do things like when Digivolving, you can suspend all of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, which facilitates a lot of the blue strategies. And then you can return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hands. Or if you're returning Imperialdramon Dragon Mode, which, again, helps facilitate a deck. You can place all of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of their deck. It doesn't care if they have any sources or not, just the ability to just directly be like, okay, all of this is suspended, it's going under now.
It just giga-deaths.
Yeah, absolutely. And then all turns, card gets 1,000 DP for each color in this Digivolutions card, and if there's 2 or more colors in this card, it gets security attack +1. Always pretty helpful, but it also gets a blocker, which is pretty insane. Because, again, it's all turns blocker and all turns DP increase. So it's going to be at like that 15k range as a blocker, which is kind of nuts for just something like this.
Yeah. That is a beefy blocker. That is a beefy boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're an Imperial Digimon, you're in blue and green, it's gonna have 2 or more colors. I don't think there's any way you get into this without a Digivolution card, without like 2 or more colors in its Digivolution card.
And you DNA, you do so much more. Like I can't even express how insane this entire whole set of Imperial is.
Yeah. I'm a big Imperial fan, so I'm very excited to see all this new support as well.
Do you have a spicy little card for us?
Yeah, carrying on from what we were just talking about, my spicy card, I picked out one specific card from the Imperial Digimon line. I put it in spice rather than meta, kind of because, similar to you, I just wasn't sure whether the deck was necessarily going to make a big splash or not. So the card I plucked out from the Imperial Digimon line was Dino Beamon. This particularly caught my eye. So the level 5, blue and green, 8 to play. It's got like 8,000 DP or something. Digivolves from blue or green, all that good stuff. DNA Digivolution, the classic, like from a blue and a green level 4 for 0. Yeah. Classic, so far, so classic Imperial Digimon. The effect, though, when DNA Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and this Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP for the turn. Then this Digimon can attack your opponent's Digimon. And then your turn once per turn as the inheritable. When your Digimon with Imperial Digimon in its name or free in its traits deletes one of your opponent's Digimon by battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So I just love, you suspend something, then you can punch it with your Dino Beamon, your DNA Digivolving into this, so you're doing that, for free. I just think that's really fun, really classic sort of little piece of removal there. It's not making any huge waves, but I just think it's going to be a good little, role performer card in the Imperial Digimon deck.
I fully agree, and I'll hit you with one more. And the other card that I feel like from that package, again, not necessarily on my spicy list, but Wormmon.
Yes.
Wormmon's inheritable to be able to DNA during end phase or end of turn. Just being able to go on, then you can go onto the Dino Beamon, swing, do all those things, then swing, then trash, kind of just does so much for that deck. And even then, if you also, for some reason, on top of the Dino Beamon, have a Paildramon up, you would get that same effect again after the fact. So you could DNA again, because it's still during the end of your turn. And it's a new Digimon.
Yeah, I think the Imperial one really needed that particular effect, that DNA Digivolve on end of turn, to really lift it up.
What, Maestimon had it from almost the get-go with their DNA?
Yes, the Gardomon and the Salamon, I guess, but you don't see that as much. It's the Gardomon.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, really nice to see that, because the deck I'm having the most fun with at the moment, not doing the best, but just having the most fun with, is the EX3 red-purple Imperial Digimon.
Yes.
And now that they've kind of brought the blue-green version into kind of a similar line with that DNA Digivolve on the end of turn thing,
yes,
I'm really excited about that, because I love the blue-green stuff. I love blue-green Imperial Digimon, so I'm happy to have a deck that plays the way I want to play. So very excited about all of these cards. I'm glad we're in agreement there.
All right. Well, we'll head into what I think would be like my last pick for the meta. I'm not too sure of how you feel about this card, but my last pick is Shoutmon X7 Superior Mode.
Oh, yep. Okay, I was hoping we'd get to talk about this.
Is it also on your meta list, or is it on your spicy list, though?
It's not on either of my lists.
That's crazy. So
mostly because I tried to go off the beaten path.
Yeah, that's fair. For anyone at home that doesn't know, Shoutmon X7 has Digicross -1 for each Digimon with Cross Heart or Blue Flare, and its traits with a different card number, specific card number.
Infinity of them is my favorite part there.
Yeah.
It's actually got an infinity symbol on the card. You can put as many as you have.
When you would play this card, you may play specific cards from your hand or battle area under it, and each played card reduces the play costs. Additionally, when you would play this card from your hand, by placing one Shoutmon as a Digivolution card under this card, reduces card cost by 1, and you may play cards in your trash as Digivolution cards for a Digicross. So you're able to essentially go from this card that would normally cost like 15, you could potentially get this for 0 if you have enough cards with different names already in your trash or in your hand or in your play area. Just be able to stack under it and play it. Additionally, on play, return all the Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck, and then return that Digimon to the bottom of their deck. Kind of good. Pretty insane. Yep. Additionally, all of your opponent's security effects and option effect cards from security just don't activate. So again, back to my clock watchmaker. Tap 4 of them, put them onto the Shoutmon. Actually, does Shoutmon even have save in it?
It doesn't have save.
No. All right, we'll wait for the English translation to have, for some reason, save. But like, potentially could have been a thing that they could do. Additionally, if there's a level 6 that we could actually know, there's actually nothing that would allow you to do that. But regardless, just being able to swing in without option effects playing off, you could definitely play cards underneath it that can give it the security +1s. So I just think this card's pretty good. I think we're going to see a lot of it, especially with Digicross already doing so much. And just, with everything out in this set, I think you might be able to see this card just flourish.
And can I just, at the tail end, point out one more thing about this card that I thought was interesting? That DP, 17,000. The new threshold. We have a new most powerful Digimon in the game, 17,000.
It's actually kind of nuts. It just does so much. It just
it's big. It's
a
real big,
beefy boy.
Oh, you better believe it.
And what was your last meta-defining card?
My last meta-defining card is War Greymon. Yep. So level 6, black and red. 12 to play, 4 to Digivolve from a black level 5, but it can also Digivolve from a level 5 if the name contains Metal Greymon for just 3, which is what you're going to be mostly doing, I think. I don't know if there's a world where you play this in a deck where you're Digivolving it for 4. It has Raid, one of my favorite keywords. Just introduced in BT11. When it attacks, you can switch the target of that attack to one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. Good fun. Good little piece of removal to get around some shenanigans. When it Digivolves, it gets plus 3,000 DP and reboot until the end of your opponent's turn. So it's going to be powerful on the turn you Digivolve into it. It's going to get to unsuspend on your opponent's turn. And then when a Digimon's attack target is switched, unsuspend this Digimon. I like anything that unsuspends. I think it's going to be a really nice way to sort of remove an opponent's Digimon, control the board. It's got that black. It's black and red, and it's a Greymon, so there's like a lot of support for it. You're going to be able to Digivolve into it pretty cheaply. I think, or get up to it pretty quickly. I think it slots into a few different decks, maybe a War Greymon X antibody deck. I love the Greymon line. I love Greymon decks. I've always got some kind of Greymon deck on the go, basically from meta to meta. And yeah, I like all the roles that this one performs. And I think it's going to find a home as a 1 or 2 of in quite a few decks. I think it's going to change up the way people build for a little while.
Well, I think also the tie in that set makes it go out a bit quicker, doesn't it? It makes it so that you can digivolve from your Agumon into the War Greymon.
The black tie, and one of your Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon with Greymon or Omnimon as name by suspending this tamer, gain 1 memory.
Does it not allow you to? I feel like there should have been a world where you can just go from the Agumon straight to the War Greymon. Yeah. I feel like there probably is something that facilitates it, but I wouldn't remember off the top of my head.
Well, the tie gives it blocker, which pairs up nicely with the reboot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of effect. So yeah, it's not, to end on, it's not the splashiest of cards necessarily. I just think, yeah, it's a solid little role player that I think it's a one-of in a few decks, but I think it's going to do more than maybe it looks like at first glance. It's like vegetables. More. It's like your broccoli, right? Like, it's not the centerpiece. It's not the thing you're looking forward to, but you're like, I'll put it in there because I need the greens. I need the healthy, That's how I think of it.
All right. Do you want to head into your last spicy card?
I hope this will be a little bit more interesting than my last meta card. I realize I didn't sort of go in a nice progression there from least to most exciting. This is also probably not very exciting, but I like it. Kozenimon. It's a level 2. It's a black level 2, and it just says, your turn once per turn. When you play a Digimon with save in its card text, draw 1. And I like it, because what do you want to do with cards that have save? Generally, they tend to be a lot of your cross kind of cards. So you want to play them, and then you draw a card when you do. Yeah. I just think it'll draw, it's probably not the popular level 2 from the set for that kind of thing. I think I've seen more of the Monimon, the purple one.
Yeah, I thought about putting the Monimon in, but I feel like the eggs aren't enough for me to be like, this card's so good that I think that it's going to be played. I think that it's not quite there, personally.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to include an egg just because I think that's interesting. And the Kozenimon, I like the way that it plays, and I'm going to play around with it, I think. Because I just like play a Digimon, draw a card. That's a good little sort of engine there. So we'll see.
All right. So before I go into my last card, I just want to do quick little shout outs to a few cards that we haven't mentioned. One of them,
there's been so many.
One of them, Grand Quagumon, kind of really good. The Beelzemon X Antibody, kind of nuts.
Yep. Real spicy.
There's also the the Mervamon.
Yeah, the Jet Mervamon.
However, my last card that I think is kind of insane is Laplace's Demon.
Oh,
now, not everyone's going to know this, but it's an option card. It is a 1-cost black option card. States main. One of your opponent's Digimon gains start of your main phase, attack with this Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn. This card, insane. You want to get a person that's maybe, depending on the deck, you might want to get them to just swing out of the gate so it stops them from digivolving and trying to get on top of something else that'll be able to just swing for multiple checks. You could be getting rid of something that's just kind of enabling too much if you know that it's going to hit your security. And on top of that, usually if you're playing black, you're playing with blockers. You can sit there, you can have your blocker up that's just going to block it right out the gate. What are they going to do? They can't play an option card. They can't do anything about it. They have to attack. It's the first thing they have to do. So I just think this card will see a decent amount of play in, I truly believe, Dark Knightmon, but even in like Brigade. It's just an insane card that came out at maybe a bit past its peak, but I think it still has enough in it to be able to be played.
Yeah, that making something attack is better than you might think, especially because being that it's not an option and it costs 1, you'll always have the option to do this because like you'll always have at least 1 memory. And yeah, you can play this when you're set up for it. As you said, you're leading your opponent into kind of a trap. You're making their Digimon attack when it's unfavorable. And making an unfavorable attack is not fun when you're the person who has to do it. It's not pleasant. It really can upset your plans. So I like this as a last pick. I think this is a really fun pick.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even spoken about a single option card in this set. And there's a few that are interesting and a few that really facilitate the cards in this set. A lot of them that are like kind of like the plugins where you'd be able to play them regardless of color. But in this case, you could play them without color if you have like a hunter, which are all the new tamers.
Yeah.
So a lot of that was cool, but it just didn't stick out to me as much as this card did.
Few option cards I thought about including for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's the purple one that lets you like digivolve.
Overflowing power?
Yeah, you can digivolve for like a reduced cost or something like that. It's like a 0 cost option.
You digivolve into a card with save from under one of your tamers. So you're digivolving into something that's been saved under one of your tamers, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is definitely, in my opinion, one of the more interesting ones, but I just don't think it's enough. Like, I feel like it's missing a few marks. But yeah, I mean, that's our 5 meta, 5 spicy little tech cards that we have. For everyone at home that's been listening, give us your thoughts down below. Thanks again to Connor from the Memory Gauge Podcast.
My pleasure.
Be sure to check out all of his links have down below. And again, just give us your thoughts on what you might think, if we missed anything, or if you think our list sucks.
Please do tell me that I've been dumb, because it's the only way I'm going to get better.
Yeah, definitely tell us if we're really dumb. Tell us that Quartzmon is a dog shit doo-doo card, and that what's that Digimon? The coin, the black level 3 coin flipping Digimon is good because it gives blocker. Anyway. We will see you all maybe in another video where we talk about more Digimon stuff. All right. Peace.
Bye.